Algeria. The name itself feels like a secret whispered on the wind. It's a place that sits right there on the map, a giant piece of the puzzle of North Africa. Yet somehow it remains just out of focus for most of the world. It's not on the typical tourist trail. You don't see postcards from Algiers next to the ones from Paris or Rome. This country doesn't easily give up its secrets. It makes you work for it. It demands your attention, your patience, and maybe a little bit of your soul. But give it that. And Algeria rewards you in ways you never expected. It's a place of breathtaking beauty, of raw, unfiltered history, of people who carry that history in their eyes. It's the biggest country in Africa. Think about that for a second. A vast land stretching from the deep blue Mediterranean all the way down into the heart of the Sahara, a nation of incredible contrasts. Geography is destiny. But in Algeria, you don't just hear it, you feel it in your bones. Up north, the Tel Atlas mountain range hugs the Mediterranean coast. Fertile valleys, olive groves, vineyards, cities draped over hills tumbling into the sea, life moving to the rhythm of the waves. You move south, cross the mountains, everything changes. Green gives way to the high plateaus, a vast semi-arid steppe, shepherds, nomads, horizons that stretch forever. Beyond lies the Sahara, an ocean of sand, crushing silence, overwhelming scale. Tassili Nadjer, a plateau from another planet, thousands of ancient paintings and engravings, a silent testament to human life. This is where Algeria's past feels most alive. A coastal fisherman in Annaba, a Tuareg nomad in Tamanrasset. Different worlds, one nationality, different climates, different cultures, different ways of life. No single Algerian experience. Many experiences shaped by sun, sea, sand. You can't understand Algeria without understanding its history. And Algeria's history is not a gentle one. It's a story of invasion, resistance, and revolution. Long before the Romans, this was the land of the Berbers, the indigenous people of North Africa, who called themselves Imazigen, the free people. Then came the Romans. They built cities like Timgad and Jamila, grand temples, theaters, and arches. These ruins still stand today, hauntingly beautiful monuments to a forgotten power. But they never fully subdued the Berber spirit in the mountains and the desert. But the most transformative change came in the 7th century, with the arrival of Arab armies from the east. The Arabs brought a new language and a new faith, Islam. Great Islamic dynasties rose, building beautiful mosques and centers of learning. They created a rich culture that blended Arab and Berber traditions. Then came the Ottomans, who made Algiers a powerful base for corsairs, the famous Barbary pirates, who terrorized the Mediterranean for centuries. For 300 years, Algiers was a city of intrigue and power, a thorn in the side of European naval powers. But that power would eventually attract a far more formidable foe. In 1830, the French invaded. This was not just another conquest, it was a complete colonization. France didn't just want to rule Algeria, it wanted to make it French. They seized land, suppressed local culture, and imposed their own language and laws. For 132 years, Algeria was a department of France, but its people were never truly French citizens. This created a deep and bitter resentment that finally exploded into one of the most brutal wars of decolonization in modern history. The Algerian War of Independence was a long struggle, a bloody struggle, and a heroic struggle that cost over 1 million lives. The Battle of Algiers in 1957 was a pivotal moment. The French paratroopers won the battle militarily by systematically dismantling the FLN's network through mass arrests and the widespread use of torture. However, it was a catastrophic political defeat for France, turning international public opinion against the French and galvanizing support for the Algerian cause. President Charles de Gaulle, brought back to power to solve the crisis, recognized that Algerian independence was inevitable. Following tense negotiations, the Evian Accords were signed, paving the way for a ceasefire and a referendum. On July 5, 1962, after 132 years of colonial rule, Algeria finally declared its independence. The nation was free, but deeply scarred, facing the enormous task of building a new country from the ashes of war. The journey into Algeria's soul begins where the land meets the sea. Here, cities like Algiers, Oran, Annaba are draped across steep hillsides, white buildings cascading toward brilliant blue water. The air is thick with the scent of salt water, with bougainvillea and jasmine. Drive winding roads in Kabylie, villages cling to cliff sides, red-tiled roofs against deep green hills. Travel south from the coastal embrace of the Tel Atlas, and the landscape begins to change dramatically. You enter the world of the high plateaus, a vast, elevated steppe that acts as a transition zone between the green north and the arid Sahara. This is the traditional heartland of pastoralism, where for generations, families have moved with their herds of sheep and goats in search of grazing land. This region is also home to chats, large, shallow salt lakes that shimmer like mirages in the distance. And then it happens. The world opens up into the Sahara. This is not just a desert. It is the desert. The great sand seas, the ergs, like the Grand Erg Oriental. Massive dunes, hundreds of meters high, march across the horizon. The Hoggar Mountains in the far south, volcanic peaks. At the heart, Asekrim. Sunrise and sunset here are legendary. It feels like the rooftop of the world. Profound, powerful silence. Within the vastness of the Algerian Sahara, life congregates around the most precious resource, water. These are the oases. Cities like Gardaya are a marvel of functional architecture, a dense labyrinth of pastel-colored houses and winding alleys. Tagit, known as the Enchantress of the Sahara, is a beautiful oasis town nestled at the foot of a colossal sand dune. The Tassili Nadjer Plateau is one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. It is an open-air museum of deep history. To understand Algeria, you really need to listen. But the Arabic you hear in the busy markets of Algiers is Darja, Algerian Arabic. It has French words mixed in. Then there's Tamazight, the language of the Imazigan, the free people. Now it's an official language, a sign recognizing deep Berber roots. Chabi, which means popular in Arabic, is the music of the Kasbah of Algiers. It's the blues of North Africa. Then there is Rai. Born in the gritty port city of Oran, Rai is the sound of rebellion. In the 1980s, pop Rai exploded onto the international scene with stars like Cheb Khaled, Cheb Mami. In the Sahara, the haunting desert blues of Tuareg bands like Tinariwen echo the vastness of the landscape itself. Food in Algeria is not just about sustenance. It's about history, family, and identity. Couscous is the foundation, not the instant stuff in a box. It's an art form. Street food offers a different but equally delicious window into daily life. This is food for the people, fast, cheap, and deeply satisfying. Ultimately, Algerian food is about generosity and community. To share a meal is the ultimate expression of friendship and respect. To truly feel the rhythm of Algerian life, you have to immerse yourself in the pulse of the street. It all starts in the local market, the souk. After the market, life flows into the cafes. These are the social hubs, the informal parliaments of the neighborhood. But the true center of the Algerian universe is the family. Family is everything here. Weddings, religious holidays, family gatherings are the most important events on the social calendar. Independence in 1962 was not an end but a beginning. The National Liberation Front, the FLN, the heroes of the revolution, took control. They transformed into a single-party state. Then came the 1990s, the Black Decade. A brutal civil war erupted between the state and Islamist groups. The violence left deep scars on the national psyche, a collective trauma that still haunts today. Algeria's greatest blessing is also its greatest curse: oil and gas. It pays for everything. Subsidized food, housing, free healthcare. The paradox is visible everywhere. Algeria is a rich country full of people who feel poor. How do you wean an entire nation off its addiction to oil and gas? In February 2019, something incredible happened. The people came out. This was the Hirak, the movement. It was peaceful, creative, utterly determined, and unified. They were demanding the dismantling of the entire system, a second independence from the ruling elite. The Hirak may have gone quiet on the streets, but its spirit is far from dead. It's a fire that is still smoldering just beneath the surface. So, what comes next for Algeria? The country stands at a crossroads. The country's greatest resource is not in the ground. It's in its people. A generation that is educated, digitally connected and hungry for change. They are artists. They are entrepreneurs. They are challenging old taboos. The deeply held belief that this great, beautiful, and complex country deserves a future that is as glorious as its fight for freedom. So you leave. You think you're done with it. But you're not. Algeria doesn't just let you go, it gets under your skin. It's the taste of strong coffee in a smoky cafe. It's the sound of a rye song. It's the quiet dignity in the eyes of an old man in the Kasbah, a nation of warriors, a nation of poets, a society that is deeply traditional, a society that is fiercely modern in its aspirations. It's the memory of standing in the Roman ruins of Jamila as the sun sets, feeling the weight of 2,000 years of history under your feet. It's the overwhelming silence of the Sahara at night, with a blanket of stars so bright it feels like you could fall right into them. It's the warmth of a handshake, the genuine curiosity in someone's eyes when they ask where you're from. In the end, it always comes down to the people. Algerians have a noble resilience. They are survivors. Beneath that, warmth and kindness. Hospitality offered freely without expectation. So should you go? It's not for everyone. But if you're curious, if you're looking for something real, then maybe you should. Algeria is there waiting. A giant of Africa with a story to tell. Complicated, beautiful, unforgettable. Go and listen. It's a story that will stay with you for the rest of your life.